The Murder Hobo Brain. Killing every NPC because the DM is the enemy and you can. Killing every NPC to maximize experience and level up faster. Killing every NPC so you don't have to take notes and remember their names. Killing every NPC so the DM doesn't have to remember what their voice sounded like 20 sessions later. Aw, see? The peak murder hobos kill for you, not against you. Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of the Bear Bard Tales. It is I, the one bear that just wants to tell you, I'm proud of you. Keep that chin up, young buck. The Bear Bard. I'll be honest, this week I've been super sick, so we're gonna have a bit of a shorter episode. Hopefully I don't sound too terrible, still not at 100. But before we get started, if you like this kind of content and you want to hear more from the Bear Bard, make sure to give this video a like and show that sub button some love. Every sub I get gets me one step closer to getting Wizards of the Coast to add the fearsome new monster to the monster manual, the Bear Owl. Isn't he cute? Yeah, that's a solid CR10 right there. I feel it. With that though, let's go ahead and get started with our first story titled, The Worst Character Creation System Ever. TLDR, the official Judge Dredd tabletop RPG, has such a bad character creation process that it forced us to rage quit. My group was looking for a new game and somebody found a Judge Dredd tabletop RPG book. The GM read the book and was super excited. He said that character creation was a mini adventure itself, as we played as cadets training to be judges, and the choices you made over the course of in-game years determined what your final character would play like. The GM sets the tone with a comedically grim, dark description of the setting, very appropriate for Judge Dredd. We're playing as first-year cadets, and the GM tells us to roll for athletics. We all do so. The GM then reads off from a larger table depending on what you rolled. High rolls meant you passed with flying colors and got boons. Low rolls and you squeaked by, getting some character flaws. Next was roll academia, roll medical, roll psi powers. There were 8 total random rolls we made, and a massive list of results for each one. By the end of it, everyone started having a mix of random stats, boons, and flaws. But no one made a single choice so far in the character creation. Sounds like a good start to a campaign that you'll be spending a bunch of time in. Absolutely no choices for your character, just all random rolls. And before anyone says anything, I know a lot of games have elements of RNG to character creation, but usually you still have choices that you get to make in there, or it's for a mini campaign / one-shot, so it doesn't really matter all that much. GM says it's time for year 2. Roll athletics, roll academia, roll medical, etc. Then we go to year 3, and here's where things start to get stupid. One player rolls so poorly on one of the rolls that he straight up died. They died mid-character creation. The GM begins searching the book to see what to do when a character dies during character creation. Turns out that character has to redo his entire character from scratch until he catches up with the rest of us. Year 4 and 2 more players die right before graduation. They have to undergo the entire character creation process from the start. Over 3 hours of the most gruesome character creation process, but we can finally pick classes. Player 1, I want to play a Psi Judge. GM, your Psi stat is too low. You can't play Psi Judge. Player 2, I'd like to play a Techie. GM, your Int stat is too low. You can't play a Techie. Player 3, I want to play an Admin. GM, your Charisma stat is too low. You can't play an Admin. Party, what classes can we play? GM, you can all play Street Judges, which are the default class. You're also locked into that class. Impatient, we begrudgingly finalized our sheet and got to the GM book's first official mission. We start with a shootout. A criminal gets a lucky crit on a player, instantly killing them. We finish the mission and ask the GM what happens to the player. The GM flips through the book and wearily says, he has to make a new character from scratch. To summarize, 1. Character creation is extremely time-consuming. 2. You don't get to choose your own stats. 3. You get assigned random bonuses and penalties. 4. Your class choices are extremely limited to your random stats. 5. You can die during character creation. 6. Anytime you die, you go through the entire character creation process again. Never again. This is one of those situations where the concept sounds awesome in theory, but without the proper balance, just sucks. I mean, with that universe, I can get why they'd want it to be more of a brutal and hardcore setting. but there's a balance to be had between hard yet fun and just brutal and boring. Here's where I also put some blame on the DM. At a certain point, you need to read the room and realize this sucks. Being able to change up the rules and make it personalized for your group is one of the best parts about TTRPGs over other forms of entertainment. Here the DM should have either cut down the punishment, maybe a hospital trip instead, or just quick-rolled secondary characters. Treat it more like Morkborg and just randomize a few characters ahead of time to pull from. Also add in ways for them to work towards being the classes they want to be. Like imagine playing almost any other system and saying you really want to be a druid, but the DM just flips you the bird and says you're not good enough for that. You're probably not going to be all that invested past that point. I'm actually working on a campaign with a similar concept, where the first part of the game you'll be classless and you work on tasks that grant skills, and at the end you choose your class. The biggest difference from the story is that they'll be able to work on skills they want to, so they can work purposely towards the class/classes they're leaning towards. And honestly, if we got to the end of it and they just hated their characters and their stats, I'd work with them so they had a character they were proud of instead of this randomized base scrub. The overall point of this is, as DM, if something isn't working and everyone hates it, then just change it. Make something better. You have that power. But let's go ahead and get to the second story today, titled, You Threw the Kids at Us. I'll be honest here, the title alone drew me into this. A newbie DM decided to, DM a pre-made campaign for our group. Started with 5 people, ended up with only 3. 2 of them quit 2 sessions in. They were younger and wanted to party, to each their own. Edit to add, when he decided to DM for us, each of us offered to help all the time, and suggested he talk to us if he wanted to make any change, just so he wouldn't blow up the campaign or drastically alter the mood in-game. And before the incident, we had already given him feedback, advice, and tried to make him understand these kind of changes were not exactly appreciated unless we could do something to prevent or fix the problem. We were supposed to go after an organization. Roguelike assholes, red capes, shady gangsters, classic. But there were also other things to do, so the asshole hunt was postponed for a short while. Cue newbie DM trying to do something that would shock our characters and set them into action. As we approach the middle of the town square, a child lands right in front of our feet, dead from fall damage. We usually play more gorish games, so our minds go to the whole, this red mashed potato that used to be a kid is dead for no reason mindset. The DM made the red cape assholes catapult a kid to our feet. We fight, win, kill most, catapult the last one twice. Our lovely bard decided to cast Featherfall on him once for fun, and promised to cast it on him a second time. But as the guy was falling, he said, "Oh, I was out of spell slots." Fun moment. We kinda got over this shit moment by making it amusing among the players. The DM was not pleased. Fast forward, he has been talking about this but twisting it to make himself look like the good guy. Like, these heartless monsters wasted the Featherfall spell on the bad guy instead of saving the kid. Ignoring the fact that he didn't tell us, hey, you see a falling kid. He said that the kid had already landed and died. Every time any of us, or some friends who know what happened, publicly correct him, telling him that he gave us no choice and that he is the heartless monster, he throws a fit or gets visibly pissed. And I don't know how his brain cells haven't quit after the mental gymnastics he tried to pull to make himself the good guy. If anyone is wondering, this DM is the same guy who tried to cast poison spray underwater on my other post. The 2 campaigns we played with him are a gift that keeps on giving. He was infuriating at the moment. Now it's just hilarious to share with others. Edit 2, we wouldn't have made fun of the DM or the situation if he hadn't tried to paint us as monsters to make himself look better, repeatedly and publicly. Wow, I kinda hate him. Honestly, I hate people like this. And to be fair, this feeling is more of a non-game related, not so much in gaming. But these people who do some dumb shit that gets fixed by others, and then who try to change the story and keep bringing it up instead of just letting the story die. It's like they know what they did was dumb. They know that everyone else knows what they did was dumb. So they try to make up for it by talking about it. Why keep bringing it up? Everyone knows the truth. You're not going to change what happened. Like, does lying make you feel better about it? I think the problem is that people lie to themselves about something so many times that they believe it. But at least this group will call out as BS. I'll just never get these people. I've had to deal with so many of them and I just don't have the patience for it. Own your mistakes, then get over it. No one else would care or even remember it if it wasn't for you. Again, this is more of a non-gaming take, but I just hate it. As far as in-game, I mean, each table is different. If your table's more into gore, you do you. It's not really on me to judge that. Probably better ways to try to get your group back on track, like maybe talking with them. Let them know, hey, I'm new. I'm not really prepped for freeform play. Can we keep this a bit more on rails? People will tend to have a lot of patience or sympathy for new DMs. They'll work with you. Or in session 0, give those expectations. Most people, I think, don't default to catapulting kids at the group in the middle of a city. I promise you have other options. But with that, let's get to this week's bear facts. American black bears live throughout most of North America, including North Mexico. They typically live in forests and are excellent tree climbers, even sleeping in trees during the summer. They're also found in mountains and swamps. Despite their name, black bears can be blue-gray or blue-black, brown, cinnamon, and sometimes even white. Those were covered in another video. In addition to eating berries, roots, and salmon, black bears also prey on deer, moose, insects, and sometimes even carrion. Look, that moose fact is terrifying if you've actually seen a moose in person. Black bear cubs also weigh less than 1 pound at birth, then they gain 20 to 30 pounds in the first 3 months. But I think that's going to do it for me today. I want to thank you all for your continued support. It means a ton to me that you enjoy the work I put into this channel. With that said, if you like this video, then make sure to give it a like and subscribe if you haven't already. If you want to connect with me outside of YouTube, you connect with me on Discord, Reddit, Facebook, Twitter, and TikTok. You can also check out the Bear Bar Tales podcast if that's your sort of thing. I have more episodes planned and in the works that I think you're going to love. For now though, this has been the Bear Bard. Stay kind, stay beautiful, and keep on living that bard life.